SPD major crimes detectives have been relentless in their investigation of this incident. They have collected evidence, followed up on leads, and taken a suspect into custody very quickly. Following the homicide that occurred on December 15th, our major crimes detectives searched the scene and recovered a glove. They entered that glove into evidence. DNA was recovered from the glove that matched the suspect, Timothy Suckow. The victim, Mr. Carlile, was involved in a series of complex business transactions, all of which centered on oil fields in North Dakota. Evidence suggests that those transactions may have provided a motive for the homicide. Last night, a search warrant was executed on Mr. Suckow's vehicle. Detectives recovered a note, and that note detailed a plan believed to be connected to the incident. Additionally, a black ski mask was recovered in the vehicle. It should be noted that a witness observed the shooter wearing a black ski mask. As part of this ongoing investigation, we are working with federal agencies, including the FBI and Homeland Security investigations, to pursue additional leads. Mr. Suckow is known to law enforcement and has served time in state and federal prison for burglary and unlawful possession of a firearm. In addition to the homicide of Doug Carlile, we have had one other homicide this year. The homicide of Arnold Lomison on North Astor. Within days of that homicide, our detectives identified a suspect. That suspect is currently in custody in Oregon, and he's awaiting extradition back to the state of Washington. This morning, patrol officers arrested a juvenile male in connection with a recent pharmacy robbery. This investigation is ongoing. And then earlier today, we received a call of shots fired in the 1800 block of West Gardner. Within minutes, members of patrol and our patrol anti-crime team stopped the vehicle. They detained 2 people after a short pursuit, and we have recovered several guns in connection with that incident. The investigation from earlier today is ongoing. Our focus is on the Carlile homicide and the very quick arrest of the suspect in this investigation, a fairly complex investigation that my sense is you'll hear more about in the future. I mention the other cases because you've heard me speak towards the end of last year and on a number of occasions about how lucky this community is to be served by a tremendous police department. If you commit a crime in the city of Spokane, you will be apprehended. You will be apprehended quickly. Every day, members of this department put themselves between people that seek to do us harm and the good people in this community. We do that with tremendous professionalism, with dedication to mission, and we are in relentless pursuit of those individuals who need to be brought to justice. We concluded 2013 with an 8.5% reduction in violent crime. That is the first significant reduction in violent crime that this city has seen in several years. As of today, overall crime in the city of Spokane is down by more than 8%. The Spokane Police Department is committed to reducing crime and ensuring the safety of those individuals that we serve. People living in our neighborhoods and people doing business in our community. Thank you.
Chief, according to the affidavit, Mr. Carlile foresaw that perhaps he had made some enemies out there, and even before y'all could get Mr. Carlile at the crime scene, his adult children were telling you there are people out there, and our dads told us about them.
Right. You know, again, I'm somewhat limited in what I can talk about. But as the affidavit very, very clearly talks about, Mr. Carlile and others were involved in a series of business transactions. Some of those took place in North Dakota, some of those took place here. He was involved with a group of individuals. There were some significant financial issues that arose during those transactions. And as the affidavit speaks about, we believe that it is very possible that the homicide was a result of those business transactions that went down.
Kind of off of Jeff's question here, Chief. Were you aware before he was murdered, Mr. Carlile, of any potential threats against him or any potential harm that could have been done against him and his family?
No, we were not made aware of any of the threats or the circumstances.
And we really want to focus on the excellent work of our major crimes detectives. In many cases, these incidents are not resolved quickly. And in this particular case, less than a month after a homicide, it is resolved and a suspect is in custody.
Well, then to that end, at least some of these detectives were pursuing the DOL registered owner of the vehicle thing. You really believe, based on what this has told you, the van is the righteous getaway car. Y'all went to great lengths to try to figure out where the van was.
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I think, first of all, you have detectives doing a crime scene and somebody sees a glove and says, you know what, let's pick it up and put it in for evidence and let's do some DNA tests on that. I think a lot of people may have just said, well, there's a glove in the backyard, no big deal, right? And not pick that glove up. That glove turns out to be a crucial piece of evidence when we submit the DNA. The FBI has a hit on it, and that hit is attached to Mr. Suckow, our suspect, who is now under arrest. So very, very good police work around the glove. A relentless pursuit of how do we identify this van. And fortunately, some individuals in the area had seen the van. Other individuals had captured the van on tape, and it was going through a series of steps to determine the age of that van, and then doing a series of queries to see who in the state of Washington, the state of Idaho, and other places may have a van like that registered to them or connected to them.
Chief, can you talk at all about whether or not you think Mr. Suckow was the one driving the van?
Clearly he was linked to the gun. Clearly he is linked to other pieces of evidence, and that's the reason, right? So we recovered a mask from his personal vehicle that at least minimally meets the description of the mask that one of the witnesses saw during the shooting. We also recovered this very detailed note outlining kind of a checklist of here are things that you have to do, or I have to do, to prepare for the ultimate homicide. So I think there's some pretty solid evidence that links him to this shooting.
Do you think he was the one driving the van?
I'm not going to speculate on whether he was driving or just a passenger or.
I know you alluded to, Chief, some of the complex business dealings that he had. I know it was in the affidavit as well. I know there was a lot of work done, on the department's behalf, interviewing people, talking with people. Is Mr. Suckow the only suspect in this murder?
He's the only person that's under arrest at this point. We have and continue to interview, along with our federal partners and some state officials in North Dakota, a whole group of people. And this really centers around a burgeoning oil industry in North Dakota and the acquisition of property and other assets and sales, and whether property was really valued properly. All that's kind of spelled out, I think, in the affidavit.
Could there be more arrests?
Ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Chief, if the crime of conspiracy to commit murder has been committed in the state of North Dakota, is that really a concern or anything that you can do anything about here in Washington?
Yeah, we can certainly bring charges here in the state of Washington if we can prove that there's a linkage between North Dakota and here.
Chief, what's that van today?
It's been secured.
It's part of that ongoing investigation, because the nature of the investigation, if it's not listed in the affidavit, we can't talk about it, but it is part of the ongoing investigation.
Is it fair to paint this as an investigation that's far from over, really?
Yeah, it is. You know, we have our part, that continues, and there are other aspects, as you can infer from the affidavit, that are still on.
Chief, can you comment at all about who Tim Scott is? He was the one who texted Henriksen to let him know that Carlile had been killed.
Anything else?
Have you had a chance to search the van for evidence?
I can't comment. It's been secured.
It's secured, part of the ongoing investigation.
And as we, you know, get updates that we can share with you, we will certainly do that as the days unfold.
Anything else?
This Suckow, Mr. Suckow is the only person invested at this point.
At this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just clarifying.
Yeah, yeah, it's the only one that we have under arrest at this point.